Have you ever wondered what alien space plants would be like? What would differ between a plant from another planet and a common house plant that we'd have today here on Earth? Well, for one thing, they have eyes. What's up, guys? I am the Rat Man. Today we're going to be talking about the Arboreal Abomination. Now, this creature is actually very interesting. I didn't see any other YouTube videos on here about it, which immediately made me like, capitalism. And also, it looked so cool. Like, I saw this creature in just random offshoot on Wikipedia, and it looked sick. It immediately grabbed my attention, and I was like, I have to make a video on that. So that's what we're doing now. Now, the sources of information on this cryptid are very interesting. There are 2 newspaper reports and a book report. When I started writing this script, I only had the book, but then I found out about the newspapers, and while I could not find the originals, I searched for over an hour. It was so tedious. I compiled all the information from all the people using the newspapers and took all the things that added up together, and that's what I wrote into the script. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Without further ado, hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and let's figure out what the Arboreal Abomination is. A Mr. Gordon Creighton wrote a chapter in the 1967 book, The Humanoids, where he wrote 65 separate accounts of alien sightings. I had to sift through almost all of these 65 accounts to finally find the one that I was looking for at number 62. So if any of you are interested and you want to go read that, it's number 62 in the chapter about Latin American aliens. I'm very glad that I did sift through it, because I found out that there was a police report on this creature. No, I couldn't find the police report, unfortunately. That would have been so cool, but there is actually a police report on this cryptid. So, what is contained within this story? Well, the year was 1965. The day? August 29th. This sighting took place 43 years minus a day from my brother's first birthday. 0th birthday? From the day my brother was born. 2 men, Antonio and Julio, were driving down a beaten road through the Pan American motorway in South Peru. They were approximately 12 miles away from Arequipa. I'm butchering that name, but it is the second most populated city in Peru. As they were driving, they had to swerve to avoid this creature that was just sitting on the road. Now, this is where accounts differ, because the book makes it sound as though they just kept on driving and left, but the newspapers say otherwise. As they swerved around, they saw that the creature had this odd, giant golden eye. They said it was so big and on the top of the mass that it looked almost like a head. They also could see these golden and silver bands wrapping around it. It looked almost like tinsel on a Christmas tree. They hopped out of the car and started heading towards it to see, what the heck is this thing? And they got a little more detail. The thing was ebony black. It was like a shrub, like a plant, and it didn't just have the singular golden eye, it actually was covered in eyes, really solidifying that appearance of a Christmas tree. They said it looked Martian, alien. It also was only like 2 feet tall, about 31 inches, 80 centimeters. Really small, which is really cool and perfect, because I want this thing as a houseplant, and how am I going to keep it as a houseplant if it's as tall as me? Now, this is where in the script I was saying this is odd that I must be missing information, because everyone's talking about details that I don't have, because the book doesn't give these details. It just gives very basic rundown of it had a golden eye and it was like 2 feet tall. That was about it. And then all these other reports are talking about it looking like a shrub and having a lot more eyes, and talking about the men getting out of the car. That's when I had to go digging and find out about the newspaper reports, and I'm glad that I was able to, because it was very unfinished with just that one original source. Now, shortly after they were looking at this thing, they turn around and see a freaking UFO hovering just above their car, just sitting there. Like, dude, what is... That would freak me out, dude. To turn around and there's just a UFO sitting above my Chevy Tracker. brother. And then on top of that, around 20 kilometers away, there was about a dozen people who also saw a very low flying UFO. So we got some corroborators. This is the odd part of the story. It ends here. We don't know what happened after that. The newspapers just stopped writing about it. The book just makes it sound like they continued driving, so obviously it just stops. That's where the story ends. We're not sure what happened. Most people assume that the two guys, out of fear of a UFO just sitting above their car, bolted to the car and peeled out of there, like most of us would. But I've also got the idea, how much do you know about alien abductions? You see, whenever I listen to abduction stories, most people can't remember being abducted. They can't remember what happens during the abduction, and they can't remember how they started going down the road. Like, there are stories about people driving cars, and they'll stop because they see a UFO, and then they get beamed up or something. They don't remember that part, but the next thing they know, they wake up and they're just driving. Listen, I'm just saying, these dudes got out, were observing an alien, turn around, there's a UFO right there. They could have easily been abducted and then ported back into their car just driving down the road. I could absolutely see that happening. That's my own little spin on it. I haven't seen anyone talk about that, but like, it kind of lines up with abduction incidents, so I fully could see that happening. Anyways, that is the bizarre case of the Arboreal Abomination. This thing is so cool. I love it so much. Like I said, I just saw it on an offshoot of Wiki and was like, I need to read that because it looks so sick. I haven't really seen anything like it. You know, there's a lot of different cryptids. A lot of them start to look the same. And this one is just out of this world. Like, I wish that someone would just genetically engineer this thing so that I could have it as a houseplant. And hopefully the eyes glow, because that would just make it so much cooler, dude. And with like the gold and silver wrapping around it, it looks so cool in my head, man. Ugh. Well, that's gonna do it on the information for that. If you like this video, make sure to hit like. That is greatly appreciated. It helps push this video out to other people who might also enjoy it. Make sure to leave me a comment if you've got a cryptid or a strange story or just something interesting that you'd like to see me cover in a video. I would love to get a recommendation here. Like I said, we're trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of 2025. That feels like a massive goal for me. I've had so many channels and never even been close to that many subscribers. I think I've had 5 or 6 channels, never gotten that close. So this is like a really big goal, but I think we can do it. I think we can do it. So if you want to help join in on that challenge, make sure to hit subscribe. If you hit that bell, you'll get notified next time I make a cryptid or other video. And I think that's going to do it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, Ratman out.